Welcome to the Introvert Sisters, the podcast by introverts for introverts, hosted by Sharon and Lisa, two INFJs with a lot to say.
Hi, I'm Sharon.
And I'm Lisa.
And together,
we're the Introvert Sisters.
Welcome to our podcast.
And guess what? I don't know why I'm saying this. I don't know why I'm saying this like you don't know this, but
yes,
this is actually our final episode of season 1.
It is. It is. I cannot believe that we have got here already. And it has been so much fun.
It has been fun. It has been crazy sometimes. It has been challenging. It has been fulfilling.
But we'll get to that in a minute.
But we'll get there. We'll get there. So anyway, tell me. Yeah, let's catch up. What's been going on with you? What's happening?
Well, one of the interesting things that has been happening, of course, is online school. So my daughter is actually at school in the US, but has been back here in Barbados since March because of the pandemic, of course.
Right.
And so she's been completing school online, and as she describes it herself, it's been patchy. Some bits of it have been a hot mess. Some bits of it have worked. And the semester's actually just ended. But it was very interesting as, teachers struggle to cope with the different technologies and to suddenly move everything online. And I know that's something that educators around the world are coping with now. Because
it can't be easy.
It can't be easy because, delivering something online is not the same as online education, if you see what I mean.
Yes.
There are different ways in which things have to happen for it all to work for everybody. You have to recognize that people will have technological challenges. I know we talked about that briefly in the last episode. And, it's not just the students that have the technological challenges. Let's just say this, if you're somebody who works in an educational institution with fast internet, you may not have a fast internet connection at home. You might do all your checking before you leave work, right? So you suddenly find that you're having to do, Zoom calls and Skype calls and Google Meet and all these kind of things. And, your technology is not up to the task, especially everybody in your household is also having to do the same thing. So there's that.
Exactly. And because that's just, becomes sort of a bandwidth issue within the home. And then, of course, everybody else around the world is doing the same thing, and so it feels like the Wi-Fi is just dried up.
It does, and then there's the actual education. How
is she feeling about school, and like what's the next chapter? Like has the school said what's happening next?
The school appears to be intending to reopen.
Oh Lord, that already sounds like a disclaimer. What is that? It appears to be intending to reopen. Okay.
That was the last episode. That was the last update that we had a couple of weeks ago, is that the school is going to reopen. But delivery may change depending on what their state laws are regarding physical distancing and so on. Right. So we'll see. I mean, basically it's a waiting game. Literally, the semester ended about a week ago, maybe not even as much as a week ago. I know the last assignment was handed in a couple of days back, right? So now it's a wait and see. They're packing up the stuff that she was not able to return to school to pack up, because there was that, of course. You kind of have to get over the natural disinclination to have people rooting through your stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is what it is.
That's not easy. So is she still excited to go back to school, or is she kind of like over it? Like what's her mood like?
I think she's excited to go back. I think it felt like the year ended, it kind of fizzled out.
Yes.
Right? So
big fizzle.
I think, going back is definitely on the cards. She's excited about that, looking forward to that. And so it's, just wait and see what happens. And what about you, sis? Because I have seen some fabulous Instagram pictures of you in all kinds of outfits, heavily featuring tulle. Tell me about that.
Well, tulle is one of my favorite fabrics because it's like it looks happy, right?
It does.
Tulle is happy to be in the world. It's like, look at me, I'm amazing, I'm beautiful, I'm fun. Like it just puts you in a good mood. At least it puts me in a good mood, right? And I mean, well, you would know this from what I wore to Afropunk last year. As soon as I remember when I saw that beautiful blue tulle dress, I was like,
all over.
That is the one. And I started saving my money so I could get it to wear to Afropunk.
And it was the right choice because you got a tremendous amount of coverage. You have to, you got to drop a link to your link tree with all the AP coverage.
I will.
In the show notes. People, you got to see some of these pictures, some of the coverage. It was amazing.
Thank you, sis. But yeah, so tulle is one of my favorite fabrics. Pink is my favorite color. And one thing I've been doing since being at home is just, finding ways to entertain myself. We've discussed before, some of it has been listening to music. A lot of it has been watching Netflix. Spending time with my puppy dog, connecting with you guys, with my key people. But some of it has been playing dress up. I've always been that girl.
This
right?
is true. I have memories.
Always. You have memories. I know. You probably have memories beyond what I have, but I've always been that girl that loves to play dress up. And so that's where all these pictures are coming from, is that I finally have the time and the energy because normally when life, in the olden days, pre-corona.
The before times?
The before times. You go to work, you come home, you're exhausted, you flake out on the couch, you just blank out. At least me, If you have any chores to do, you do them, and then you just like zone out, just trying to recover from the day of dealing with people, dealing with meetings that should have been emails, all that stuff. So I didn't have the energy. Now I have the time, and because we've all been resting, I have the energy as well. And so I've just been like shopping my closet and wearing things that ordinarily I would not get a chance to wear, So yes, I would not be able to wear a pink tulle dress and a crown to work, but I can wear it.
In your own house.
In my own house during the pandemic. And so
wonderful.
Yeah, it's just, another way of expressing fun and creativity and lightening the mood and just feeling better about life and yourself,
It's
because
wonderful.
Also, other than that, girl, I am at home in sweats and it is not cute. It's not cute. I'm not cute. It's just, it's bad. It's bad. And so every now and then I need a reminder of, this is what it's like to be a human being and make
This is the
effort.
fabulous person that I truly am. Right?
Hopefully.
Yes.
So it's just self-expression and part of sort of maintaining the sanity,
Absolutely.
And I also was thinking, well, you're never going to have more time than you have now to, pay attention to Instagram. I still haven't been doing as well as I would like to do. I'm not posting daily.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is, right? But I'm posting more frequently and being more intentional. And so, sort of building my audience bit by bit as well. So.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
so
wonderful. So,
yes. Talk to me.
End of season 1. Can you believe it? And so much has
I really
happened.
can't. I really can't believe it because we started talking about this literally years ago.
We did.
We started talking about it years ago. We even, I think, at one point did a test recording.
We
just
did.
There, like in your bedroom.
That was about
right?
two years ago. Two years ago we did that. Yes.
And it's sort of just been there, lingering around, with other, lost dreams.
I think it took us quite a while to come up with the concept that we were happy with, because we knew we wanted to work together, and we talked about ideas back and forth, and then finally, about 5 months ago, we came up with a concept that eventually became the Introvert Sisters. It didn't start out that way, and I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Because as you heard in our episodes focusing on social media, we originally had that narrow focus, and then we thought, no, let's broaden it out, and that's when the Introvert Sisters were born.
Yes. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so guys, our listeners, this is a great time to once again say thank you. We say thank you a lot, and but we think that's okay. It's okay to express gratitude because
Absolutely.
honestly, we were doing this for us. We had no expectation of anybody would actually listen. We hoped, but we had no expectation, and so we are grateful for everybody that has that listens, that is supporting us, that has liked our Facebook page, or
Reviewed
followers
us.
on Instagram. Sorry?
And reviewed us as well.
That's reviewed us, that subscribed. I mean, we have support. It's building, and we're just so grateful and excited about it.
We are extremely grateful.
So what we're going to do is just sort of recap a little bit of what the whole experience has been like, right? Building to get to the point where it went from an idea to actual execution, and now we're, like we said, at the end of season 1. So I don't know, you want to get started?
Yeah,
sure. She's like, no, you get started.
Well, you've dropped me right in it. So, okay. One of the best things about this is that we've always wanted to work with each other. So, and we're very much in sync when it comes to ideas for the podcast, how we manage things. We're both writers, we're both marketers, and even though each of us has our individual areas of expertise, we're comfortable with the whole digital marketing space as well.
Right.
So that is very helpful, and we're very much in sync in terms of those things, aren't we, sis?
Yeah, it just makes everything easier. If you start off working with somebody that you're in sync with, as you put it, it makes everything easier because yes, there will be, and there have been, roadblocks, mistakes, snafus, things have gone wrong, but a lot of things have also clearly gone right.
Yes.
But it starts by having that foundation, and this is just like a note for anybody out there that's thinking, whether it is starting a podcast or any other kind of business, choose your business partner wisely. Since you and I lucked out because fortunately we're actually related to each other, we happen to get along. That also does not always happen, but
it's not a given. It's not a given.
We can discuss that in season 2. But we are ahead of the curve because we're in sync. We're different enough that sometimes we push each other. Okay, why are you doing it this way? Why don't you try it this way? How about that? Have you thought about this? So it's not that we're just sort of a fan club and we're in a narrow tunnel and only being women to each other. It's not that's not it. Not at all. But because we have a foundation of love and mutual respect, admiration for each other's work, our respect of each other's for each other's talents and capabilities, then that makes everything else that you have to deal with a lot easier.
It does. And we always know when to back off and let the other person take the lead on something, or whether and when to say, okay, you're the expert in this. I'm going to be guided by you. Okay.
Boom. And don't let it be a fight and a fuss. Like I can't tell you what to put on a website, or how to build it. Right? Yes. I understand what I'm saying, because that's not my world.
No,
I am not the back end chick. I do not.
No,
I don't get it. I don't know if I want to get it.
No.
You're all about it. That's fabulous. You handle it.
I am not going to tell you how to make the Instagram feed look pretty. That's all you. You have built so many Instagrams for so many people now that, let's just agree that that's your expertise. I'll back off. I'll go on and like some stuff.
Right. And that's not to say again, you can still have ideas about what the other person's expertise is. I mean, obviously, clearly if I see a typo, which usually I must say, you copy and paste my copy, so I know the typos come from me, right? But, you know, if I see a typo or, you know, something looks out of alignment or whatever, yes, of course I'm going to say something, and you would want me to. That's what
Yes,
you should.
absolutely.
Not a question of, well, it's my expertise, so therefore you have to be silent about everything. Like you've told me, okay, I don't know if XYZ is working on Instagram, and I'm like, yeah, you know, actually, I think you're right. That being another thing, it is okay to be guided by somebody else and not have it sort of devolve into a pissing match. It is okay to
Exactly.
say, yeah, I think you have a point. Let me fix that, or let me take a look. You know, like
Yes.
take your
Yes.
ego out of things.
We are not yes women, but we operate
No,
in an atmosphere of mutual respect.
mutual respect. That's
Right?
all. That's all we ask of others. That's all we give to each other.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes.
So okay. So what else?
Well, I know that, you in particular, maybe me a little bit, but you in particular have an OCD side. So
Whatever do you mean?
there's something very satisfying, isn't there, about
Yes.
following through on the podcast project, on seeing
Mm-hmm.
it come to fruition. Right.
Yeah. Because the thing is what you don't realize is, you know, you're given ideas and inspirations and moments of that nature throughout your life.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if you're paying attention and you want to follow through, and if you're paying attention, you will want to follow through. If you don't follow through, it's always there niggling
Absolutely.
somewhere in the back of your brain.
You
And
know,
that is that little energy that is spent on it niggling and you knowing that you have not followed through is energy that's tied up that should be better used actually putting something into action.
absolutely.
And
And
so, yeah.
yeah, as introverts, as we've said many times throughout season 1, we think a lot. We have a lot of ideas. I'm not saying introverts are the only ones who have ideas. That's not what I'm saying. But
Mm-hmm.
we do spend a lot of time in our own heads thinking things through. So it is nice to get something out of your head and actually realized.
Yes.
I don't know about you. I
Yes.
mean, I have lots of projects that I have not yet realized. So it is good to have this one be a thing, an actual thing.
Yeah, and also during this time, especially, you know, I'm out of work right now. For me, it's been very, very helpful to have something to focus on.
Yes.
You know, and this is we're going to get to this, but this podcast, I mean, it's a lot of work. We're not going to lie about that. It is a lot of work. But that's been great because it's kept me focused and kept me from sort of just, you know, sitting on my couch, you know, scrolling through LinkedIn endlessly. Refresh. Oh, they haven't posted any new jobs in the past 5 seconds. So
Yes.
it's been great to have, you know, from that perspective, it's also been great to have something else to focus on, something positive, something that we have some control over. Because I think what a
Absolutely.
lot of people are suffering from right now is this feeling that, okay, we have no control over what's going on in the world, right?
Yes. Whereas with this, this is our baby. We can decide what we're doing with it.
Yeah,
And it keeps us connected regularly,
absolutely.
which is great.
Yeah.
And as I think you've said before, sometimes it feels like we're just chatting. We forget about the recording thing. And actually, people who have listened to it have said the same thing.
Really?
Like getting a window into our sisterhood,
Yes.
which is wonderful.
Yeah, no, I love that. You know, working with you has always been sort of a dream of mine. You know, I always tell you, both you and mommy, you know, that, you know, I want to be like you guys when I grow up, and I'm still have not grown up. But, you know, you're two of the people that I admire most in the world.
Thank you, sir.
The love obviously is there, you
Yes,
know, but
yes.
if you have the love and it's, you know, tinged with, you know, the admiration and the respect, and like, wow, this person actually kind of like a hero or heroine of mine. And
Mm-hmm.
so to get to work with you and explore that is just absolutely wonderful. you
Yes.
know?
And I have to say that when we first started talking about working together, we always assumed that it would be writing. Always assumed, right?
Yeah.
And you know, it's interesting to me that it's a podcast, which does involve writing. It is true, but
Yeah,
it's
but
a
but
podcast.
a lot less.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's wonderful. It's been a good distraction. I've enjoyed thinking about topics.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't you?
Oh,
You know,
yes.
it's
So
been
many. I
wonderful.
mean, it's like I said, it's just another creative outlet.
It is.
Another creative outlet. And there's been a lot to learn, which we will get
We'll get
into.
to it in a minute.
We'll get to in a minute. But it is good for the brain to have novelty is good for the brain. It gives it
Absolutely.
something sort of for the gears of the brain to sort of clamp onto and hold on to and work on. And, it keeps you sharp.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It does. So yes, other good things about this is that, we're learning new skills and, we'll get to
Mm-hmm.
that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's good for our future careers. If you then say, okay, I'm a podcast co-host. So in addition to
Mm-hmm.
whatever else I'm doing, I have some expertise in this.
Yeah.
I use the term expertise very, very loosely here. I mean,
Right. And
could go on.
can I just say it's been interesting because in this whole job hunt process, I have had a couple of people approach me specifically because I do podcasting.
Wow, that's amazing, sis.
Yep.
So
So,
it's another indication that we're on the right track with this.
yeah.
People have been very supportive,
Mm-hmm.
of course. We got a
Yes.
review. Who was that from again?
It was actually from a fellow podcaster that we just met on Instagram, that's the beautiful thing about this is, you kind of make new business friends, so to speak.
Yes.
And we have a small but extremely supportive community of followers and listeners on Instagram. The people who, as soon as you post, they're on there, they make a comment, they say something supportive, they send you memes for you to post and so on. And so our review came from one of those podcasters.
It's wonderful.
So,
It really is
yeah.
wonderful. Thank you, Instagram community
Yeah.
and Facebook community, but Instagram community.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate you. We really do. We feel that people are really getting something from this podcast, which is a joy for us.
A lot of people have we get a lot of comments of oh I can relate comments,
Mm-hmm.
whether both on Facebook and on Instagram. So that says to me that yes, it's sort of in some ways is what you might call a vanity project. We're just doing it for us, but it's also, it genuinely is out there helping people, helping other introverts feel heard and feel understood, which is one of the goals that we had as well.
Absolutely.
So it's good to know it is actually working.
Yes. Yeah. There's a joy in starting a project from scratch and seeing it blossom,
Mm-hmm.
and also in learning things, even stuff that we are slightly afraid of, like this whole video business, but we'll get to
Girl,
that.
you took the words right out of my mouth because this is
So what have we learned? What have we learned from this process?
well, I think we've learned that it is not as hard as it looks, but neither is it as easy as it looks.
Well put.
That is to say, I think before that, we sort of knew of the podcasting world. And in fact, I have a little bit of experience, podcasting. I had some podcasting experience prior to this. But before that, let's say, podcasts were sort of a complete mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And had somebody asked me, I would have said, oh, there's no way I can ever do this.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's not that hard. That said, it's not that easy either, especially just, it's just the two of us. And so even with my previous experience from podcasting, there has been, been stuff I needed to learn. What about you?
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of back end stuff to be done that you have to pay attention to, not just really for the website, which, I know,
Yeah.
But
And
also,
thanks again for handling that, because if you
but
were waiting on me to do it, we'd still be waiting.
but also for the podcast host, for getting it onto different platforms. Thank you for handling that, sis, for organizing the intro and outro, which you also organized. There's a lot of that sort of stuff. But as I always say, done is better than perfect. I know it's not my quote originally, but I have stolen it and adopted it. Okay?
Well, I hadn't heard it before you introduced me to it, but I'm a big fan of that quote. Done is better than perfect, because
Yes.
perfectionism keeps you in a place of stuckness.
It does.
So you never progress, because if we had been waiting for the perfect time, now we're on video, the perfect outfits, the perfect microphone, this, that, the other, there's so many areas that could be quote unquote perfected, we would not have started yet.
We would still be waiting. We
would still be waiting. Yeah.
So you start and you level up.
Just level up bit by bit, right? And another thing that we've learned is, which we kind of alluded to earlier, is glitches and setbacks are a given. They are going to happen. You have to know that, be mentally prepared for that going in, that, Murphy's Law is going to be in full effect at some time. But, don't sweat it. Exactly. Sure, something happens with the audio, or something happens with the video, or whatever it happens to be, and then you just go into problem solving mode. Okay, well, given this, then what? And solve the problem and move on as quickly as possible.
Absolutely, because you have to be realistic. Mm-hmm. There are two of us doing this right now. We may have a little more time, but in the future we may be doing this in what little spare time we have. So we have to be realistic about what we can achieve and what we can fix.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. So, quality does matter to us, but we also know when it's time to just get stuff out, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know that we've released things, posted things, whatever, and then sort of gone back and done a review. Reviewing is important. You have to sort of review your work with a critical eye and have that capability.
Yes.
Yes, it's your baby, but there are parts of the baby are ugly, and it's okay to admit that. The whole baby isn't ugly, but there are little parts that need some cleaning up, and it's okay to clean up that part of the baby. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Right? Give it a little sponge bath from time to time. Right? One thing, I mean, you kind of hinted at this just now, but one major thing that I have learned, I don't know if you feel this way about it, is that this could easily be a full-time job.
Oh, it could.
Easily. Right?
It could.
There is, the recording, post-production, editorial, web, social, distribution, promotion,
planning.
Planning. Like, had you before you said yes to it, did you have any clue that it was going to be this time consuming?
Well, I suppose if I had thought about it, I back in the day used to be a magazine editor. Right. And so this feels very similar in some respects to how that whole thing happened.
It's just you're talking the magazine.
It's just that you're talking the magazine. Right. You have to have an overall calendar, an overall idea of where you're going. You have to plan each thing individually. You have to prepare the assets. And, since the onset of social media, you also have to promote it. So it feels very much like that. And, that's a full-time job. Yeah. You could very easily, if you were getting paid to do this, you could spend all your time tweaking it and making it near perfect.
Lovely. Yes.
We love it. We love it as it is. Yes. But we could spend more time on it. We really could. As it is, we spend a lot of time on it right now.
I mean, there are days where I have to force myself, like, okay, just do one quick post and be done with it, because otherwise you're just going to spend all day every day on this. And I think because at some point things are going to ramp back up, that's the expectation in the world, in the world, with projects, with jobs. And so we sort of need to create that space for that time.
Absolutely.
Now, because
Absolutely.
if we get into the habit of sort of doing this full time, and then we, everything wraps up, thankfully, we have, more jobs, more projects and things coming in, but we don't know how to balance it. That's not good either. So
it's very good that we've had this time, because we're definitely more comfortable with the process. It's not taking as long to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You can batch produce certain things as
Right.
well. And so I can see that when we both get busier, there will be a way to manage it. We may not be able to do quite as much in advance, but we will have a good process going. And I think we will be able to manage it. We're intending to
I
keep
think
going,
so too. Yeah.
But bear in mind that managing something which is a side project is different from managing something which is a full-time venture.
Mm-hmm.
So we both will need to be realistic about what to expect of ourselves. And you, our beloved listeners, will have to be realistic about what to expect from us.
True that. So, okay. So like I mentioned before, you have to be able to look at your baby, love your baby, but see where your baby needs to improve. So, any improvements you think we could make, either us personally or with the podcast in general? Like, what do you have in mind for season 2 and beyond?
The first thing that I think we need to improve, and I think this is a problem for both of us, is filler words, repetitions, hesitations. It's very interesting going through the transcript.
It's horrible.
And taking out, like, etc. We say that a lot. And even when you're mindful of it, it is such a part of day-to-day speech. We don't necessarily want to sound stilted, but we would definitely like to reduce those. I think that applies to both of us. Right,
Oh,
sis?
absolutely. I mean, I literally am thinking of taking, some kind of, I said it again, some kind of speech lessons. I don't know if those are actually a thing, to help me focus on using fewer interjections and hesitations. And for me, I know that this has gotten worse. Well, you obviously would know I had been in a car. I'd gotten hit by a car a few years ago, and I hit my head pretty hard when I fell down. And frankly speaking, my brain has never been the same since, right? And so I noticed from that time that I am very forgetful of words. I have a problem accessing the vocabulary that I need. It's in there. It's definitely, it's in there somewhere. You have a great vocabulary. Thank you.
You just need to call it out, right?
But I need to call it out. And again, it was not a problem for me before, but since that time, and gradually, of course, I'm getting older as well. And so, it's getting worse, where I have a real problem sometimes remembering my thoughts, definitely remembering my vocabulary. So sort of, needing to do exercises to help improve that. Because I personally, I don't want to listen to something where it is more filler than content.
No.
Right? No. And so
I don't think that's true of this.
I don't think that's true of us, though.
No, not at all.
I don't think that's true of us. But definitely, we both kind of, our dad used to do broadcasting. I would say based on that, it's in our blood. So we should be able to master this. Right? We should be able to master this and get over all the hesitations and sound like professional media moguls.
Right. We need to be able to podcast like we write.
Right.
Okay? That's where we need to get to. That's where we need to get to.
Let it be fluent.
So that is one of our goals for future seasons.
Mm-hmm. And what else?
Our post-production software for doing the videos and putting together the audios. We're using some online tools which appear to be working.
Right.
So, but I'm sure that there's room for improvement. So at some stage, should this ever become a paying project, we could consider going professional with some of those options. Mm-hmm. I also have a vision for us doing an on-location episode if we ever find ourselves in the same place.
Oh, that same place being Barbados, and I will be there ASAP. Listen, as soon as they, fully reopen the borders and the airlines are flying again and so on, I'm going to be there. And so that's going to happen for sure. Yeah.
Yes. And what else? What else for you?
I think the audio itself, audio quality, it's good for now. Look, I mean, we have big networks, ABC, NBC, Fox, whatever. Everybody is doing stuff via Skype or Zoom and actually broadcasting it from their, homes, bedrooms, kitchens, living rooms, wherever.
Yeah.
And sometimes their audio is not good, right?
Yeah.
So I'm giving us the grace of, okay, if ABC and NBC and CNN, if their audio is tinny, our audio can be tinny because they have a budget. They have a budget that we do not have, right? But you always have to have goals for improvement. I think you have to be sort of heading in a direction, preferably upward.
Absolutely.
And so I would like the quality of our audio to improve. So at some point I'm thinking of getting some decent headphones, a decent mic, and sort of doing the full setup.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm thinking of.
Absolutely.
For the other podcast that I do, as you know, we usually go into a studio, and that's the setup. You have your headphones, you have your mic. There's a sound engineer, and the audio is like boom. It's like flawless.
And this is where the post-production stuff that I was talking about would come into play.
Right.
Even if we continue to record this way, there might be a way to improve it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's not to say, again, we're not stopping because of a little.
No.
Because we're gonna
keep on.
The audio is gonna stay just the way it is, and we're gonna keep recording, and eventually we will improve.
Yes.
And that's that on that.
I want to do quote merch. I love quotes on mugs and t-shirts and so on. And we've had some good quotes. So I feel like that is something that could happen in season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, frankly, we didn't start it. And even when we first had the idea, we didn't start with the idea of monetization, but we're business people and we're marketers. And one thing the whole pandemic situation has brought to the forefront is that you need to be in control of at least part of your income stream. Right?
Yeah.
And so for multiple reasons, we need to get on the monetization front. So yeah, some merch. Merch is definitely, I am all for that. Let's make it happen.
Let there be merch.
Let there be merch.
I love it.
There was merch.
Yes.
So another thing. Video.
Yes, video.
And I know we're doing it right now.
We're doing it, but we're still a little bit in denial. Video is not
my thing.
Our natural medium as introverts. As marketers, we know that doing video podcasts is what we need to do.
Which is why we're doing it.
Which is why
it pains us every time.
As introverts, we much prefer the audio.
Oh my gosh. This is a big lift for me. It's
yes. I've been running from video for years. I think I've said that before, and I'll probably say it again.
Yeah, it's like it's too much, but I guess it's what they would call in the business world is a stretch goal. So here we are. This is a stretch goal, and we're doing it. We're uncomfortable. What is it? They say we're introverts. We're here. We're uncomfortable. That's us right now doing video. We're here. We're uncomfortable. We want to go home, but nevertheless, we shall persist.
So we're doing the video.
We're doing the video
anyway.
Anyway, hopefully it improves.
And
right?
Something that I think we both want for future seasons is to invite a couple of guests. In fact, I've had a couple of people offer to be podcast guests already.
Oh, fabulous. And like what's their, without necessarily calling out names, but what's their like area or what?
Have
they suggested topics or?
No, we haven't got as far as that. We got as far as one of them is a marketer. Mm-hmm. And she said it sounded like a good thing. She'd be happy to be a guest. I can't remember what field the other person is in. Mm-hmm. So I think that when we're ready for guests, that we will have some.
Right.
We'll have some. So I'm not promising this for season 2, people, but you never know. Maybe the back end of season 2.
Right.
And season 2, by the way, you're not going to have to wait a year for it. Don't worry about that. This is not Netflix. No. Okay. This is not CBC, CBS, ABC, NBC, BBC.
So I definitely don't want it to be CBC, but
it's not any of those. So, season 2 will be coming in a few weeks. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we will not let you forget about us. Don't worry.
We'll still be posting.
We'll still be posting. So we've learned a lot. We've had a great time doing it. Mm-hmm. There is one thing that I know, Lisa, you've been concerned about is, are our segments right? There's one thing, the question we keep asking ourselves, do we have the right segment names? Should they be called something else?
Huh?
Should they be called something else? I know you're not in love with them anymore.
No. I'm in love with the concept behind them. I'm in love with the concept of using INFJ, which is our see what I mean about forgetting my words? Thank you. Which is our Myers-Briggs / MBTI type.
Yes.
So I'm a fan of the concept is cute, right? INFJ, but I don't know if the actual segment names are working.
No.
I do want to be in love with every part of the baby eventually. So we need to get there. But I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Are they working for you? Like, what do you think?
Well, some of them are.
Okay, people. If you know my sister, that's a no. And she's gonna try to be diplomatic. Well,
just venting works. Just venting works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So don't be surprised if they change in season 2. The content will be the same, but we'll give it a nice new name.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll work that out. Mm-hmm. And speaking of just venting.
Right. So do you want to do one last vent for this season?
I do.
Okay. So what do you want to vent about?
As introverts and very quiet people, you'll find that there's a lot of judgment out there about what's really going on in your head. People often think that you're bad, you're rude, you're unhappy, you're incompetent, or even ignorant, as we've spoken about before, because you're quiet. And, I'm not here for that. We're smart. We're competent. Just because we're thinking about something, it doesn't mean that we're unhappy. Maybe we ignore you, but that's probably because we've got some thought going on in our head and we don't even notice that you're trying to get our attention. Or
maybe because you've been talking way too long and it's time for it to end.
Well, there's that too.
Okay. Sorry, that was mean. I
don't know that you're helping our case here, sis.
I'm sorry. Can I just mention though, I mean, for those who are into astrology, I'm a Scorpio, so this thing comes out from time to time.
Oh, yes.
I don't know. It's just like I have, and it's partly, my personality and partly age. It's like I just don't have the patience for the foolishness. I don't have the patience for it. So if you want to jabber on and keep jabbering, what is it? All sound and fury signifying nothing.
Yes.
Go right ahead, but do not demand my attention if you're all sound and fury signifying nothing.
Yes.
Just don't. Because you're not going to get it.
So yes, I want people to leave some of that judgment of introverts at home. Mm-hmm. Take the time to get to know us and what's really in our heads, 1-to-1 preferably. Okay, don't blindside us with a panel. Okay.
Oh no.
Right?
What's the worst is it didn't used to happen, but it happens all the time nowadays. Is you are in the office and they do the let's go around the table and introduce everybody and I say, oh no, can we not? We not do this? And I always clam up. I never know what to say. And
here's my tip, sis. Here's my tip.
What?
Prepare a 2-sentence and a 5-sentence introduction for yourself. Keep it on your phone. And then when they do that, just call it up and read it out. You find your 2 sentences that you're prepared to say and you stick to them. Okay? It's just prep. That's all it is. You can do this.
That makes sense.
You can do
Or I could become a multimillionaire and not have to do that foolish.
Okay, so which of those is more likely in the next 3 months? Okay,
I know.
Just write down the sentences.
This is why you're the big sis and I'm the baby sis, right? Because your job is just to corral me and keep me focused.
Yes, we all want to become multimillionaires and win the lottery, but the chances are slim. So let's do the work in the meantime.
Let's do the work. Oh my gosh.
Well, yes. I think that wraps up season 1.
Let's do the work, and for now we're done with the work.
Yes, we're so happy to have launched this podcast, to have brought it to you, that you're listening, that you're responding. We're grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you so much. And we will be back soon with season 2. Bye for now.
Guys. Bye.
You've been listening to the Introvert Sisters. Loved what you heard? You can catch all our episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and all other major platforms. Subscribe, rate, and write a review. Find us online at theintrovertsisters.com and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Introvert Sisters. See you next time. Peace.